Hey everybody, Pastor Adam here with 3-Minute Advent, Day 5. Now yesterday I was talking a little bit about the idea of Christ coming back and that we shouldn't be anxious of the fact that Jesus is coming back. And in fact, in our faith, we should be holding close to that hope. And as we dive into that, I want to build on that a little bit today and talk about the idea of us having joy versus fear. You see, as we think about our faith and what our faith is based on, it really comes down to the idea that Christ came here to restore peace between God and man. And as Christ came here and he paid the sacrifice, it removed that sin barrier, that thing that caused us to have a separation from God. And so that the blood of Christ washes away our sin, and therefore we have peace with God. But when Christ comes back, it's going to restore peace completely. And that we should rejoice in effect. Imagine a world, if you can, just sit back and take a minute and think about this. A world with no war, a world with no dysfunction. Everything's working together as God intended it to back in the days of Adam and Eve. Imagine that peace happening in this world and what that must look like. Imagine what that speaks to our faith and how our action should be as we live out this life looking forward to that. N.T. Wright, he's a Christian theologian, he says this, and I want to read it. If God really does intend to redeem rather than reject his created world, we're faced with the question, what might it look like to celebrate that redemption, that healing and transformation in the present, and thereby appropriately anticipate God's final intention? That's powerful, and it's kind of deep if we really start digging into it. We have this fantastic and bright future, but that should speak something into the life we live here. It should speak into our present life. It doesn't mean everything's going to be a-okay. There's going to be rainbows and unicorns and sprinkles and kittens. But what it does mean is that we have this hope that's growing within us, and it changes our actions as we walk through the present troubles and trials and valleys and stresses that we have here now. Another quote, as I mentioned, I've been reading through this for my own personal Advent time called The Advent Mission, and the author is Omar Rakabi. He had this to say about it. He said, if the gospel of Jesus Christ isn't good news for the future, then it isn't good news for the present. Advent is about hearing the story from the future and allowing it to speak joy into our darkest places right now. So I don't know what you're facing right now, and I don't know what you're struggling with. But I want us to think about this, and this is one of the great things about Advent. We understand, we focus on the fact that he fulfilled all the promises that he said he would throughout the Old Testament, and he came here. Well, he promised us that he's coming back, and we have this great joy in knowing that that is the hope that we have in the future. But that hope in the future should speak to us right now and should change how we act toward the world who is in darkness. We are supposed to be the light shining that great hope, that peace, the message of peace that we have. And today, I hope that's the challenge. I want us to really think about that and pray about it. And maybe just take a few minutes in prayer and see, God, where is it that I need this to speak into my life? I hope that challenges you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Feel free to ask questions and leave comments. Talk to you soon.